listening to the Pelicans Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
For all things Pelicans, you're now rocking with the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network. I'm Big Q chiming with you on the Pelican Postgame Report. And we recapping last week's action with the Pelicans. Big up to all the family members joining us in the live stream. Kevin, I see you, fam. Kevin said, I see you back on the grind. Unique View and others, good to see y'all on the Pelican Postgame Report. That's right, fam. We back after a 5-hour live stream on the Sports Coma, man. We continue to do it big, baby. We gotta tell you, we love our teams. And oh yeah, it's just a podcast on this one here, Kev. Just a podcast, so we're not doing the fancy Sports Coma animations. But we're gonna bring in DC in the show. DC, how you doing, my friend? How you feeling tonight?
Feeling all right, man. How you feeling, Big Q?
I'm feeling pretty good, fam. Doing all right, man. And we talking Pelicans on this one, man. Good to hear you in. And we got quite a few games to kind of go over on the Pelican Postgame Report. Starting off with the Rockets affair. Now, remember, the last time we did a show was about a week. We usually do the Pelicans shows once every week. And this week here, we had quite a few shows. We had to recap on the Rockets matchup in which the Pelicans were able to take out a shorthanded Rocket Club 127-114. That was actually, we talked about that. The Pelicans were really feeling the buzz. They had a winning streak going. And we knew eventually they would take it into a pretty good game, a matchup against the Rockets. And pretty much that's what they did. Now they were back. This performance was obviously backed by the fact that Zoe Ball's career high 7 3-pointers that he had to kind of wisp him past the shorthanded Rocket Club 127-110. He had 27 points in that matchup, 10 of 20 shooting from the field from him. Pretty good, man. Pretty good for him. Now it really was exciting about this game is that the Pelicans kept the turnovers down. They had 9 turnovers versus 17 by the Rockets, 55 rebounds. They out-rebounded them. They outshot them from the three-point line, almost 41% shooting them versus 38.5. And then even though the Rockets were over 50% on the field, Pelicans were a solid 49% in the matchup. And I mean, tell you, it was a full house in the Smoothie King Center, and they were able to get a very good game against the Rockets, man. And prior to that, the Rockets just was beating the Pelicans, and they kind of set themselves up to get ready to go at them early February to kind of even that series off in this one. So they get it 127-112. DC, what's your thoughts on this one before we jump to the next?
You can't give them too much credit, Big Q. I mean, basically all their main players didn't play. Russell Westbrook,
right?
James Harden, Clint Capella, all those guys set out. It was almost a little disrespectful, so I'm glad we won that game because if we would have lost that, that would have been kind of embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they decided to rest all their players, when they playing us. Like, we ain't nobody. So it's good that they went in there and they won that game, man. They showed up the way they were supposed to. They didn't take those people lightly, and they went and closed it out. But I still had to see a little bit more to be excited about that we didn't really beat the Rockets per se,
Well, anytime they can get a win against the Rockets and James Harden's playing in that sucker, I mean, I'll take it 8 ways from Tuesday. I'm gonna just be honest with you because the Rockets. I forgot. Yeah, that's right. House. That's right.
If he played, I'd have been happy. He didn't play.
Yeah, House played. That's
James
right.
Harden,
right.
Russell Westbrook didn't play, and Clint Capella didn't play. I don't even know if PJ Tucker played, man. They whole
a lot of their start lineups was out of that game. Their top player was House. That's what I was thinking about. House was shooting their lights out. But short-handed team, they beat the Rockets. They'll see them again in February on the 2nd of February coming in. They'll have the final game there. Big ups to my dog Derek chiming in the live stream. Good to see you, Derek. DJ, what up to you as well as the family members chiming in the live stream as well. We're gonna move on to the next one. Pretty interesting matchup there against them. Very, like I said, House finished with 22 points in the matchup. Going into the next one, of course, the Pelicans really feeling good. They was riding that 4-game winning streak. Trailblazers, Nuggets, Pacers, and Rockets. And, of course, they ran into a buzzsaw in LA against Anthony Davis in the blasted Los Angeles Lakers team. And Anthony Davis just lit him up, man. And he was perfect from the free throw line. Yeah, he put up 46 points on 15 to 21 from the field. and it just was one of those days. Danny Green didn't help him either. He had a 25 and on top of him as they took the victory by 10, 123 to 113. As Andy Davis making the point to destroy the Pelicans every time he play them. Zoe Ball finished that game with 23 points on 10 of 16 shooting from the field. 50% were the Lakers from the field. Pelicans were 47. Then they had a disastrous three-point shooting percentage. They finished with just under 30%. And the Lakers, how could you beat them when they're shooting 50% from the field, 48% from downtown? And, of course, the Pelicans did keep the turnovers down. They only had 12 in the matchup, 14 by the Lakers. But you look at what it was just what it was. Now, what I didn't like about this game is the fact that I see what Alvin Gentry doing. He liked the 3 or 4 guard rotations, but really I just didn't like how he played this team. He was doing crazy stuff. He had the Lakers had 7-footers everywhere. He had he had his guards playing. He had Hart guarding LeBron James. He had
Drew Holiday
on Anthony Davis. I mean, what the hell, man? You know, and I was like, here we go. This is absolutely insane. I was like, this dude got to be drunk or foolish, or somebody need to slap him upside his head to wake him up or something. Because I mean, you have a couple of 7-footers on the bench that you could have cycled in the game to kind of lessen the effect, kind of even up the size matchup. But come on, man. That was an easy day for Anthony Davis in that matchup as the Pelicans go down and to the Lakers. What's your thoughts on that one, DC?
I mean, it was pretty horrible, man. That game was pretty much over. The whole game, it was constant yo-yoing of getting it up to 15, 20 points, and us fighting back to make it respectable. And like you said, man, I was mad when I saw him do it the first time, but the thing that just befuddled me, and I guess maybe he did have a little bit of something to drink. It's holiday time. He might have been feeling chipper. Is the fact that they never adjusted to that. So I'm like, it's one thing to do it. It's like, okay, I can't beat you up too much about trying stuff because, who can really guard AD? But AD was abusing him in the first half. Then we come out in the second half and we're going to do the same thing? Like, I don't understand, man. And you do have 7-footers. Jackson Hayes obviously can't guard him, but, you give Jahlil Okafor, Melly, at least give him a chance. If not, at least they can put a hand in his face when he shoots. AD's just going to shoot over Drew Holiday or Josh Hart. Like, I just get where I want to shoot over him. Even if they're playing great defense, I just shoot over them. There's no contest.
Yeah, it was absolutely.
That pretty much was
it crazy
game to me.
Yeah,
I ain't worried about what LeBron did. It was AD show, man. He dropped 46 points, 2 more than what he put up on us last time. So
you're making a
point. He has it in his mind to disrespect us every time we play.
That's right. So. LeBron James knows that he defers to him when those matchups occur, and he knows Anthony Davis is going to get off on the Pelicans every time he plays me. He don't need a reason to do that. And he's just going to show him off anytime he get an opportunity from this point forward. So we just got to get our other people ready, like Zion, to get ready to just dunk on top of Anthony Davis' head. And sooner or later it's going to come. Jackson Hayes going to get him a high flyer like Zion going to get him sooner or later. They're going to posterize him. And I'm going to take
Jackson
that picture.
Hayes almost got him
I know.
game.
That's what I'm saying. Soon they're going to get him. They're going to get him. They're going to get somebody going to get him. All right, let's move to the next one. The Sacramento Kings matchup coming after, of course, the 10-point loss to the Lakers. The Pelicans needed a reason to breathe again. So they needed a better target. And here comes Sacramento. So we marching to Golden One Center in Sacramento. Took on the Sacramento Kings. It was a very eventful game. Loved that game. It was going back and forth. Really exciting game. Pelicans took control of the game close to the fourth quarter. Zoe Ball woke up 24 points in this one, 10 assists, and he has really been one of the sticking points. Derek Favors, Zoe Ball, Etwine Moore, Brandon Ingram, those guys have really gelled. Hart, all those guys have really gelled as of late. And you can see the really competitive edges. They're starting to learn how to close these games. Now, New Orleans, they did jump out to that 22-8 lead in the first, but the Kings got on that run when they went 24-3, and then they went up on them with about 10-25 in the first half. The Pelicans got down by 9, then came back. They went on their own run about 22-9 right into halftime. Then they came back, and then they went on the 28-8 run, and took the lead 101-88. And then Sacramento answered. So it was a game of back and forth, but ultimately You know, you seen the play where Drew Holiday foolishly fouled Belichick, whatever his name is, Beligia, whatever, I can't pronounce his name, but he fouled him, giving him a 4-point shot. And I was like, Drew Holiday, you numbskull. How did you do that?
That was Brandon Ingram, my man. Drew Holiday didn't. They called it on Brandon Ingram.
They called it on Ingram. Now, but listen, Belichick, he converted a 4-point play after Holiday gave the Pelicans a 4-point edge in the trip down the floor. Now they coming out of the timeout. Reddick connected on that layup with about a little bit over a minute left and about a second left. Then the second game, he came down and hit that free throw. So I mean, it was interesting, man, in this game. But I love how the Pelicans fought and kept close in this game. And you got to give him credit. Derek Favors was big in this one. Barnes, he lighted the Pelicans up every time he played them. He had 30 points in this game, but a very interesting game as the Pelicans took it from Sacramento 117 to 115. Quick thoughts on that one, DC?
Yeah, Harrison Barnes lighting us up. I'm noticing the trend as we go into these games. Yeah, but every small forward in the league seems to light us up. That's what I'm noticing. I guess it has a lot to do with Brandon Ingram playing power forward, and we're always running 3 guards, but as we go on with the rest of these games, you kind of notice a trend there, man. Even though we play pretty good defense, I think we're playing better. There's still some holes and some patchwork going on, some other things we need to clean up. Derek Favors, definitely, he played big that night. Lonzo Ball, to me, is huge. He's a huge part of the success of the team as of late. Even when he doesn't have good nights, just the ball being in his hands and the way that he passes and facilitates and pushes the pace of the game seems to have everybody involved. And they're playing as a team, man. They play with a lot of pride and a lot of heart, and they play like they want to win for each other. So this game was a definite reflection of that. And I liked what I saw because the old Pelicans in the beginning of the season, after that mistake was made, let's say, by Drew Holiday and Brandon Ingram, because they called it on Ingram, but Holiday was playing them very aggressive. When, like, you could have just let him shoot, honestly, and just put your hand up. They didn't quit, man. A lot of games they get down on themselves, kind of, drop their head, like, oh, here we go again. They went on the other end and made it happen, man. So it was a very, very refreshing win for the Pelicans, and it seems like they're being able to find a way to win games when they have them close instead of finding a way to lose.
That's the key to it. They're finding a way to close these games toward the end as opposed to throw the unforced errors, take the bad shots. They're circulating the ball more. The defense is improving because that's the key to it. The team is a fantastic team. You got enough talent to win, but you have to circulate the ball. Don't take just unintelligent shots, 3-point shots, jacking the 3-point ball up there before people can set underneath the hoop to possibly get a stick back. Moving the ball for a better shot, stuff like that, and you're starting to see it. Here's Alvin Gentry's thoughts after the game with the Kings.
We won the game. That's the only thing that matters to me. Obviously there are some things that we'd have to execute better, but, Belicia made a great shot. It was the perfect storm for him. We were backing up off the guy and bumped him. It was a foul, and he made the shot and stepped to the line and made the free throw. And JJ made a great shot at the end. So at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is that we found a way to win a game on the road, which I think is very important.
Well, the way you started the fourth quarter, Coach, you really took it to them. You jumped out 10-0 in the quarter and just played so well for most of that quarter.
We did, and then we had a couple of defensive breakdowns when we were up 14. They give up, 2 straight threes. The only thing that can hurt you in those situations, when you're playing against them and playing against the clock is to give up threes, and we gave up 2 of them, which hurt us, and then had a couple of shots that were makeable for us that just didn't go in. But, to me, the big thing is that our guys, they kept their poise and they found a way, to win a game on the road, when everything that could go wrong had gone wrong.
Alvin Gentry's thoughts on the game, family. As you can hear, Coach Gentry knew that coming out of this when the team really needed to kind of get back on the right side of things, and they were able to do it against the Kings, who are a competitive team, even though they're not a winning team right now, but they are playing better ball as they gave the Pelicans all they can handle, and we took it by 2. Next matchup, I'm going to hit you with this one, the Jazz matchup, which the Jazz seem to be the team that we're really dealing with. Now, they seem to be the team that we have to take down. It's like it's a rivalry. It seems like it's a little mini rivalry between with Utah. Yeah, they're becoming our nemesis, and these games are really competitive to Utah. And I just love how it goes. It was a really close game down the stretch. Utah is a really difficult team, man. Really difficult team to match up against because of their size and what they bring to the table. Now in this one, the game featured 18 lead chains, 11 ties. Utah opened the game with an 8-0 run. New Orleans came back and took the first lead with about 4:47 left in the game, 22-20. Then trailing by 69-68 in the second half. Utah went on a 14-4 run to take the lead, 82-73. With about 7 minutes left in the third, the Jazz then pushed back with an 11-point, which is their largest lead of the game, with 4:47 remaining. New Orleans finished strong, closing it in the third, 15-3 run. So like I said, it was a game of runs in this one to take a 2-point lead into the final quarter. Utah leading 119-115 with about 4 left in the fourth. New Orleans went on a 62 run to tie the game with 121 with 3:15 remaining. The Jazz then struck again by way of a 5-0 run. The Pelicans answered with their own 5-0 surge to tie the game at 126 with a $1:28 remaining. Mitchell connected on that 14-foot runner. And then they went up 128 to 126 with 112 left, and with the score unchanged after the missed free three ball by JJ, and then 2 missed threes by Brandon Ingram. It pretty much was the game right there. As he went to the basket, and then that was that foul that you seen that occurred when Rudy Gobert did smack him on his hand. They didn't call. Then it was the fact that Gentry and Zobal was trying to call a timeout. The referee said they didn't see it. It was a foul there, and then all that kind of stuff. So it was more of the same, and it was a controversial ending to it as the Jazz were able to get the win 128 to 126. Ingram finished with 35 points. Favors had 10 rebounds. Zobal finished with 7. Top scores with the Jazz were Bogdanovich. He had 35 points. Gobert finished with 19 rebounds in the game. 128 to 126 loss to Utah Jazz. Quick DC before we hit the Bulls. Then we're gonna slide into the break.
Okay. Again, Bogdanovich, that small forward, man, lit us up. 35 points there. I'm gonna just skip straight to the end of the game because you gave an excellent breakdown of what happened during the game, and the most important point is at the end of the game, man, they cheated us. It was a blatant foul. It was as blatant as you could get as a foul. It was more than enough contact for it to be called a foul.
No, hold on. Let me stop you right there. The referees don't make mistakes.
They didn't make a mistake with the Saints either, and it just happened to be the next day after that happened. So, and it was in New Orleans, so I just smell a little bit of a conspiracy or whatever you want to call it. I say Miss Benson don't pay a referee bill. I think she missed a lot of payments on that referee bill.
DC, you gotta put your tinfoil hat on, DC. You sound a little crazy, brother.
But this usually don't happen to the Pelicans. They get a lot of bad calls. They usually don't call fouls for them. Brandon Ingram gets fouled a lot. The referees don't call it a lot. He gets enough calls though to say it ain't a conspiracy against him. But this was definitely a horrible play at the end of the game. I just love to see him go to the line, whether he misses or makes the free throws, and just had that opportunity to take it to overtime. I mean, we never know what could happen. Excellent game. Everybody played great. I just wish that shot for Donovan Mitchell wouldn't have went in, man, and we might not be talking about this.
I know, man. It's strange, man. Very funny. But I couldn't leave the recap of the Jazz and Pelicans without having Coach Alvin Gentry to chime in. Here you go.
Coach, can you take us to the final sequence and explanation after the game ended?
Don't have an explanation. All we did is exactly what we were supposed to do. Took the ball, drove it hard to the basket, and then they determined that it wasn't a foul. End the game.
Did the refs say anything to you?
No. They didn't say anything. They just said the game was over.
Did they not acknowledge your timeout or
No.
Lonzo was trying to get one too?
No, they didn't do that either.
They didn't say anything about it?
No, they didn't say anything about that either.
Were you trying to call timeout?
Yes,
Yeah.
sure was.
Coach
And
Brandon,
so was London.
Coach Brandon had a couple of tough drives to the rim. He didn't get a foul call on either one of them. Is there anything you'd like to comment about that?
No, I don't. He does exactly what he's supposed to do. Drive to the basket hard, and there's contact there.
Do you remember a situation where you've asked for a timeout and not gotten one in that situation?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Is it frustrating for a game in that way when you're trying to get a timeout and you don't get a call like that?
Yes.
Coach, you committed 6 turnovers the entire game. The way you guys played just kept coming. You had to have been pleased by the way you played tonight.
They did everything that I asked them to do, and they played hard, and they stayed in the game. And even when we got down 11 points, they played hard, they executed, they grind and clawed their way back, and we deserved to win that game.
That's Alvin Gentry, man, one of his most reserved press conferences after this one. I expected him to go bonkers like he did last year. That was one against the Rockets. I think that was one of my favorite Alvin Gentry moments in the history of all of Alvin Gentry's very interesting press conferences. But that was a very interesting game. The Pelicans had to rebound from it. So what did the Pels do? Move on after Alvin Gentry's pleas for the referees. They moved on against the Chicago Bulls in the Smoothie King Center for those 2 home games. And, of course, the Pelicans took on Zach LaVine, who was just, man, he watching Zach LaVine play his just kind of rework ideas of clicking. And I was just saying, man, damn, Zach LaVine is a first-grade clicker. Only thing he do is just jack up that damn ball no matter where it is. But the Pelicans really did a good job in this one in the Smoothie King Center, despite the clicking of Zach LaVine, who actually kind of hurt his team in the matchup. Very interesting game. 375 in the game, 18 of 40, 8 from the field for the first half, 7 of 28 from deep. New Orleans was almost 50. It was 59% from the field in the second half. 50% from deep. With the game tied at 48, New Orleans took control of it. They went 65-64 with 6:33 in the time frame. They closed the period at 23-11 to take a 14-point lead. Brandon Ingram scored 16 of the 29 points in that third quarter. Now, they were trailing 98-79 with 10 minutes remaining regulation. Chicago then made a 16-6 run to cut that deficit down a little bit with about 5:55 remaining. Pelicans answered, pushing it up to 21 with under 2 minutes to play. They went on a 17-5 run in that game. Now, the rookie duo of Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Jackson Hayes combined for 25 of New Orleans' 34 bench points. Hayes had 12 rebounds to that to finish with a double-double, along with 4 blocks. And then Alexander-Walker handed out 6 dimes in the game. New Orleans out-rebounded the Bulls 50-39. New Orleans has won 5 straight contests against Chicago. They've been sorry for a long time. Top man was Ingram. He had 29 and 11 in the game. When Jackson Hayes, of course, I just told you, had 12 rebounds. Top man for the Bulls was LaVine. He had 32 in the matchup as the Bulls went down in flames, 123-108. Really interesting game. DC, quick thoughts on that before we hit the break.
It was a really dominant performance by the Pelicans, but again, there's always things to work on, and the trend I see just over this game, a lot of games, we still got to pull that free throw percentage up. I mean, we could have beat this team by almost 30 points if we hit our free throws, you know. So they kept the turnovers down, and usually if the Pelicans can keep it 10 turnovers, 11 turnovers or so, you notice we win the game and get our rebound. So I was very impressed outside the obvious play, Alexander Walker and Jackson Hayes and Lonzo Ball and all those guys. I was really impressed to see Jackson Hayes get 12 rebounds. This is the first time I really seen him be that dominant on the boards. And that's a big thing for our team, man. We always have to fight for these rebounds. It seems like everybody other than Derek Favors and Josh Hart, you know, and Josh Hart is like 6'5". So that was real encouraging to me. Happy to see that dominant win by the Pelicans, and this gave them some hope going forward, man. I mean, it's still in this playoff hunt, 4 or 5 games back. So when they win like this and they continue to do things like this, maybe Zion plays. And I think that changes the rebounding and the defense a lot. So you're looking at a different team with him out there.
Most certainly, man. Tell you what, man, we got Pelicans are playing inspired ball, man. They're trying to catch them, get back into the thick of things. 14-26 is where they currently stand. Got a few more games to recap. We got the Knicks-Celtics matchups coming up on the other side of the break. We're going to preview the Pistons game. And also, we're going to open up the phone lines and let the family members chime in with thoughts, concerns, comments of the Pelicans. Y'all listen to the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network. Stick with us.
sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Embrace Pet Insurance is more than just pet insurance. Embrace Pet Insurance promises to provide genuine support and certainty when your pet need it the most. With personalized accident and illness policies, compassionate customer care, 24/7 access to veterinary professionals, flexible wellness plans, timely claims processing, and online customer portals, their values is what makes them Embrace. So, when selecting a pet insurance company as a partner in your pet's care, you deserve a company that has your pet's best interests at heart. Get top-rated and reviewed coverage for your pet today. Up to 90% back on bills at any vet, total protection, pet insurance and wellness, and dependable claims payments. Get the top-rated and reviewed coverage for your pet today. Go to EmbracePetInsurance.com. That's EmbracePetInsurance.com. Check the link in the description section below.
Get all the latest news and updates from your New Orleans Pelicans at the Pelicans GEAUX, the new and official Pelicans Daily Journal, covering everything Pelican. Attention, everyone. Get breakdown on games, free agent signings, and potential moves. Unbiased opinions and straight up facts with statistical analysis from GEAUX. Go to www.thesportsdaily.com/Pelicans-I-View.
Are you a boxing fan? Check out Ring Kings Boxing only on the PRO Media Network.
Do you need a domain name? How about a host for your website that can work with WordPress? Try Namecheap.com. They make registering, hosting, and managing domain names for yourself or others easy and affordable because the internet needs people. Namecheap is an ICANN accredited domain register and technology company founded in 2000. It's one of the fastest growing American companies according to the 2018 Inc. 5000, celebrating nearly 2 decades of providing unparalleled levels of service, security, and support. Namecheap has been steadfast in customer satisfaction with over 10 million domains under management. Namecheap is among the top domain registrars and web providers in the world. They offer a full selection of popular and unique domains along with fully featured hosting packages, SSL security certificates, WhoisGuard privacy protections, and more, all at the lowest prices in the industry. So if you need a domain name or hosting or anything else, think Namecheap.com. That's right, Namecheap.com. Check the description section below for link.
Sports fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love, unique one-of-a-kind designs exclusively by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars shipped directly to your home. Join Fanatics Rewards for free to earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and for a limited time, get 20% off all orders. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
There's a lot of reasons to be a fan, but only NBAStore.com has all the gear.
Are you a Pelicans fan? Check out the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network.
You're listening to the Pelicans Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
For all things Pelicans, you're now listening to the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network. A little football news, if you're aware, the Tennessee Titans are all over the Baltimore Ravens 28-6 in the start of the fourth quarter. And just to go to show you what happens when you bring a running game and a stiff defense into the playoffs, how difficult it is to beat teams, to beat you.
Run the damn ball.
If you run it, I mean, look at the back. Then it is Henry character. It's just is a bruising physical back that most people have. But when you have a tough defense, a quarterback that don't turn the ball over, and a running game, this team, the Tennessee Titans, is sitting in the position to be in the championship round up against Seahawks, the Packers. That is absolutely, I mean, not the Pack. I mean, against either the Texans or the Chiefs. I'm sorry. But that's the reality of doing what it's supposed to do. And we had the tighten up guys on the Sports Coma. We had him. He was up in there talking mess. One or two of them, I don't know. I think Derek might have, or Scoob, or one of my heavy-handed moderators might have laid a smack down on him because he was a little too boisterous. But the Titans, man, they sitting in the AFC championship round opinion, a complete collapse in the fourth quarter. 28-6 right now. Absolutely insane. I had to throw that one in there. But anyway, getting back to Pelicans news, fam, as the Pelicans continue to move forward. In this side of the break, we covered the Bulls matchup. I think the next one we got here, we got the Knicks. The next matchup is against the New York Knicks with the Pelicans. Went up to New York. This was a very interesting and entertaining game as well. I actually enjoyed watching this game, man, to be honest with you. It was real entertaining for if you was a Pelican fan, because the Pelicans did a pretty good job in this one. And Ingram was awesome in it. He put 28 points in it. Jackson Hayes had 18 points and 10 rebounds in the matchup. But the Pelicans shot an unreal 56% from the field. They were 47% from downtown. The Knicks stunk 18% from downtown, 46% from the field. The Pelicans got to fix the turnovers. They had 20. But against a team as bad as the Knicks, you can afford to turn. You can have those kind of games, and they won't capitalize off it. 54-52 rebound aspect of it, but a very interesting game. 18,000 people in attendance in Madison Square Garden to watch this one. Big ups to the fans up there going to support this bull crap Knicks organization with all the crap they allowing happen up in there. But going over the game, New Orleans recorded 35 assists on 48 field goals. They shot 55, like I said, 55%, 56% from the field, 47% from downtown. They led from 9:33 mark of the second quarter all the way through the game. They holding a 69-68 lead with about a little less than 10 left in the third. New Orleans went on a 16-6 run to take an 11-point lead, 5:17 remaining in the frame, and led by no less than 7 points for the rest of the game. Jackson Hayes, he logged additional second half minutes after Favors didn't return due to an injury. And, of course, that held him out. He finished with 18 points, 10 rebounds, and the Pelicans reserve unit finished with a combined plus-minus of minus 62, while the Knicks bench finished with a combined minus 41. Jackson Hayes finished with plus 23 to the to lead the Pelicans in the bench. Now, the Pelicans have won 3 or 4 of the last 4 contests in Madison Square Garden against the Knicks. They've been awful, really awful. Ingram finished with 28 points. Hayes and Hart had 10 rebounds apiece. Ball was big with 11 assists in the game, and Gibson was their top scorer. Anytime you got Taj Garbage Time Gibson as your leading scorer, you're not going to win very many games. So that's pretty much how they kind of leveled out here.
Taj ain't missing a shot. He ain't missing out one shot. You got to give him some credit.
I'll give him some credit. You know, we gave him some credit.
Well, he missed one free throw.
and he's a hustler for him, but he can't be your leading scorer. The Pelicans were able to take the Knicks out in this one and peruse on to the next one. DC, thoughts on the Knicks matchup before we go on against the Celtics?
The Pelicans basically walked through this game and got a win, man. I mean, due to the excellent shooting from the three-point line, I mean, it was lighting it up in the first half. And to me, just the command that they had on the game, it was kind of over in the first half. Points were still close, but you could see the Pelicans were going to win this game. And I just wish we would not be as sloppy with the ball. The turnovers in this game, as you can see, is going to cause a little bit of an effect in the next game. And Brandon Ingram's been playing amazing this whole stretch, when I ain't really been talking too much about him in my segments of saying what I saw, but he's been playing amazing, almost to where it's automatic. I mean, he basically duplicated what he did against. He always flirted with a triple-double that night, and he comes back out and he gets 9 assists the next night. They're playing him hard, trying to double him, man, and he's kicking it out to the team, and it's opening it up for everybody, especially when he gets it to Lonzo Ball out of the double teams, and he's like the quarterback. He dissects where it goes and throws it to the right person, and you see these shots going in because people are getting quality looks. So very impressive on a big stage, Madison Square Garden. People got to see what the Pelicans can do.
Here's Alvin Gentry with his thoughts after the win in Madison Square Garden.
Oh, I just thought it was a good team win. You know, we had guys come in and contribute. You know, we had a couple of guys that so obviously we played tomorrow night. And we didn't want to try to use those guys that we didn't have to. And I thought the bench came in and did a really good job. Nikhil played well. Etwan played well. You know, Nico played well. So we had a bunch of guys that contributed. And then obviously, you know, when we needed to close the game, I thought Brandon did a great job of just closing the game.
How is D-Fave? What is his status?
Don't know yet. You know, I hadn't checked with the doctors, but we'll see. It was a hamstring, but I have no idea of what magnitude it was, so we'll just have to see.
Can you tell us more about Nicolò Melli's performance tonight and what he can do for this team?
Oh, I think tonight he played well, and I think it's just a matter of him being able to get out on the floor. It's been tough. It's been a numbers game really for him. When he's been out there, he's played well for us, and I thought tonight he did a great job for us. So we just got to try to create more minutes on the floor for him.
Coach Alvin Gentry's thoughts on after the Knicks win, nice win over the Knicks. And like we said, that reserve roster is pretty much floating. You never know who he's going to throw out there. We know if Etwan Moore's not starting, he's going to come off the bench. He's earned Alvin Gentry's trust and respect, even in the ridiculous season when he had him playing small forward in the league, which he turns out to be. He was the smallest small forward in the history of mankind playing out there, guarding LeBron. And I'm sitting up here looking at Alvin Gentry saying, are you serious, man? Are you serious? You going to do this, fool? You going to do this? But he did it. And he flim-flam Gail Benson. Oh, Alvin Gentry's such a nice man. Oh, yeah, you know what I say, DC. You know what I always say. I'm going to say it again because it's what it is. Alvin Gentry, if he like him that much, give him some T-shirts and some free tickets and let him hand out apparel in the front of the arena. But don't let him coach your team. But the team is finally responding. They're trying to keep up enough games. Of course, they're winning. They had a couple of wins without Drew Holiday, who wasn't in the game. They're going to get him in favors back real soon. Zion Williamson is coming back. And I just love how this team is showing the depth of how deep this team is in the matchup. Now they took that win up, and on the road, and they just eventually moved on to the next matchup where they had an opportunity to take on the Celtics. Of course, they had the Knicks and the Celtics and the Pistons. Very tough East Coast trip. Yeah, right. Drew,
the Bulls game too. Drewless Bulls, Drewless against the Knicks.
Yeah, I know that. We just made mention of that. That's the thing. Without Drew Holiday, and the trend continue. You didn't have Favors. You didn't have Holiday. You didn't have none of those guys in this matchup, and it was a complete decimation of the Pelicans. They went up to Boston. They got the issue in a major way in this matchup, and it wasn't even funny. 140 to 105, a destruction of 35 points just took apart. This team was blazing hot. Boston shot 55% from the field and 48% from downtown, led by Jason Tatum's 41. It was just simply too much. This man had 6 3-pointers and a career-high 41 points, and really as they just cruised past the Pelicans. Boston held their turnovers down. They only had 11. The Pelicans not so bad with the turnovers with 16, but Boston out-rebounded 58-43. Outshot them by 15 percentage points from the field. Outshot them by about 17 percentage points from the three-point line. What could I say? Absolute decimation of this team, being that they're without Favors, being they without Drew Holiday. But the team tried to kind of scrap its way back in this thing, but it was just total destruction. DC, what you want to add to this debaclement, bro? Because I don't know. They just got took apart in this one.
I mean, this was a huge disappointment, but one thing I saw moving forward that has to change is the way Boston played Brandon Ingram is an eye-opener for a lot of people in the league. They forced him away from lanes like the way he liked to drive. I noticed every time he would drive to his right, Jaylen Brown was right there, man. And, I mean, his turnovers, most of them probably came from Jaylen Brown causing them. And we also got to remember that Brandon Ingram came out and he said, these MFers got extensions before me. Well, guess what? One of them MFers was Jaylen Brown, so I'm pretty sure he remembered that. And that was a big part in shutting down Brandon Ingram night. He didn't have a great night himself, but he had 3 steals. And I guarantee you at least 2 of them came on Brandon Ingram. There's a bunch of other times I've seen Jaylen Brown help in forcing Brandon Ingram into bad decisions. I'm not putting a loss on Brandon Ingram, but this, to me, there was a big, big focus on stopping him. And he got 16 points tonight off 15 shots. That's not Brandon Ingram-like from what we've been seeing this season. And, of course, Redick is out. Favors is out. And, man, I mean, we just got murdered on the glass. You got, what's that guy's name, man? I always forget his name. The dude who was talking about Zion, Ernest Cantor. Ernest Cantor got 19 rebounds tonight, man. I mean, they had a bunch of offensive rebounds. He got 7 offensive rebounds, just Ernest Cantor. They had 10 as a team, so we got 15, but still, just that rebound battle to me was a big part of it. Like they just dominated in the paint. We couldn't get anything going in the paint. It's almost like we came in and thought we were gonna play the Knicks again. We kept driving and kicking out, trying to hit our threes, but they weren't falling like they were falling out of the game, and we didn't really have a plan after that.
And truth be told, on top of that, and that's a great breakdown, by the way. It just and then the aspect when the 3-pointers wasn't fall, the Pelicans did attack the paint. Just to let you know, the referees really let this game become a really physical contest, because how Brandon Ingram was being held and Alvin Gentry was fussing his tail off. He was really and the referees, the female referees, she really let these teams get physical. They were, it was a little bit too physical, but it's good to see Brand of basketball like that. It just didn't work for the Pelicans because they got physical with Ingram in this game. He finished 4 on 15. That's totally not, like you said, it's nice, 16 for 5, but it showed you basically how to slow this team down, and somebody else would have to score to help the Pelicans win. Now, Frank Jackson stepped up. He had 22 off the bench, but somebody else needed to help out too, maybe a couple of people, but nobody else besides Jackson Hayes finished with 20, and you had 22 from Frank, and then 16 from Ingram, and then you had 10 from Zoe. With he almost had a triple double, 10 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists. But
he didn't have a real good game tonight either.
He struggled too. 14 of 12 from the field, 2 of 7 from downtown. He struggled mightily in this game. Etuan Moore struggled too. Had Etuan Moore opened up, it would have got a little close. But I just think Boston, as a team, there was no stopping Tatum. 41 points from him. Kemba Walker didn't have to do too much because Enes Kanter put up 22 and 19 in the game. It was just what it was.
It was embarrassing, man, to me. But I also have to keep in mind that all three of those guys that were hurt, that's pretty much guys that were in our starting lineup. I mean, let's be honest. And we're coming off a back-to-back. Well, Brandon Ingram did play 39 minutes the night before.
No doubt about it. The shots were short, so yeah, you're right about that.
His shots were short, so I'm not giving him an excuse, but I understand. But I don't think it's any excuse losing 140, 105.
Get the shirt.
I didn't see him particularly winning this game, when it started, but I thought we put a better effort up. And I understand you say we got to the paint, Big Q, but there's no excuse for us shooting 45 3-pointers, man, and only making 14. When we got to the paint, we didn't get to the paint enough. So I'm still standing on that. We got dominated in the paint. I mean, they had 74 points in the paint, man. We had 42, and most of those points came from Jackson Hayes. And Frank Jackson
Okafor got to step his ass up in this one, man.
Okafor he did a little bit, man. His defense is horrible.
Got to do more, man.
His defense is horrible.
You got to do more than that.
He's a liability on defense.
No, you got to step him up. Even if it's just ridiculous, man. We know it's offensively he can score around the basket, but he needs to be inspired to play better defense, no doubt about it. Especially with Derek Favors down like what he is, man. So moving on to the next matchup.
You see the importance of Derek Favors tonight. If anybody didn't know, this was Derek Favors.
Derek Favors is something
special. They wouldn't have got 140 if he was out there.
Derek Favors is something special. He's a very intelligent big. He knows he knows when to roll to the basket. He rebounds and fights for the ball. I mean, Derek Favors is just a terrific player. Now, the Pelicans, it wouldn't be bad when you had that Jackson Hayes behind him. It wouldn't be bad if the Pelicans had another 7-footer who could play the center all power forward position. Perhaps there are rumors circulating around the league, according to various reporters, are saying that the Pelicans are looking for another veteran person to add to the team. Perhaps they'll issue out a draft pick, something like that, to kind of add to it. So if they're looking at that, they're definitely pushing to try to make a playoff. And they really do think that when Zion Williamson does return and you get Drew Holiday back, J.J. Redick, this team can make a push for anything between 6 to 8 in those positions. 14 and 26, they're a couple of games behind, but the reality is there's too much season left over to count this team out right now, the way Ingram is playing. And once we get the rest of these components back, we'll see what kind of run they can get. Next team up is Detroit Pistons, 14 and 26.
Game run, that's all it takes, man.
That's all it takes. You win 6 or 7 games straight. They got 3 or 4 games. At one point in time, they had a little mini streak, but I'm telling you, once Zion Williamson comes back, I'm not putting too much on Zion. Once we get healthy, but that guy electrifies things. He can bring the people out. Not only that, but he has the closer mentality as well, which he can finish on top of you. It's just a number of things. His bully ball approach that I love so much, kind of reminiscent of Julius Randle when he was here, but on steroids. I mean, it's just going to be real fun to watch him along with Ingram, along with Reddit, along with all these Zobal, who Zobal's playing really well. Imagine Zobal alley-ooping to Zion Williamson all day. Could you imagine this? It's going to be crazy. It's going to be bonkers. Can't wait to see it. Moving on to the Pistons matchup, 14.
Wait. Two things I want to point out with him. That's going to be the most major impact on the team. He's going to force us to get a lot more free throw attempts. Him by himself. And nobody ever talks about Zion Williamson's defense.
He could play the defense. I mean, he could definitely play defense. You got to watch him from behind. He'll chase you down like LeBron, block the shot from behind.
I mean, 40 points tonight, man. That might not happen. With Zion out there, man.
Zion ain't gonna let you get around that hoop like that, dude.
Might not happen, man.
He ain't gonna let you get around that hoop like that.
Getting 35 might not happen because Brandon Ingram's probably be able to be on him.
It's not gonna happen because somebody have to guard Zion Williamson, and it more than likely be one of those two guys that might have to do battle with him, and you're gonna have to expense all that energy just to slow him down, and that affects you on the offensive end.
Major change in your defense and just your overall team. Especially down the stretch. We have crucial plays now when that 3-point shot ain't falling if you have a Zion Williamson on your team. Call something up, get him one-on-one, throw it down on the block. Simple.
And they triple or double team him. He kicks it out through the 3-point shooters, knock your eyes out.
Very simple.
Okay,
Very simple.
Could we move on to the next one, sir, to preview the Pistons matchup?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry for slowing up the pace, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm on the roll here. I'm like Zion Williamson, man. You can't stop me, man. I'm trying to alley-oop this thing, man. I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I had to point it out, bro. You wasn't using them correctly. You were missing two crucial pieces to that puzzle.
I hear you, brother. All right, next up, the Pistons matchup, 14-26 Pistons. We're going up to their building to play. They're 8-12 in their building. Of course, they're dealing with injuries. Of course, we know about the fact Williamson Favors might not play. Kenrich Williams also is out. Drew Holiday might not play. Reddit. We're looking at these guys. Favors, Williams, and Reddit are day-to-day. Williamson and Holiday are listed as out. So we might not see them in the Pistons game. Blake Griffin, Reggie Jackson, Kerry Thomas, Luke Kennard, and Markieff Morris are all listed as out. And those are pivotal players on the Detroit team. Boy, what a disappointment Blake Griffin been since he went to Detroit. His career continues to just evaporate. Now they coming off a loss. I hear you, but that's why they got rid of him when they did. That's why they got rid of him when they did. They knew what time it was.
Honestly, he's looked great. He's looked great over there when he's playing. I've watched him drop 40 and 50-point games over there, man.
That's
but
true.
I mean, he can't stay healthy.
That's true.
Can't stay healthy.
And he dropped.
He added the 3-point shot to his game and everything.
All that great balance. Stay healthy, man. Yeah, all that great play. Added the 3-ball. Started rebounding, playing here, scored 30, 40 points here and there. Pistons 14-26. Let's move on to the next thing here. And besides that, top scorers on the team as it stands, the healthy players. Ingram 25.5 for the Pels. Drummond with 18 points a game. The subject of various trade rumors right now. Drummond is one of the top people out there. He's averaging 18 and 16. Man averaging 18 points a game and 16 rebounds a game. Pretty phenomenal. Top assist man for the Pistons is Derrick Rose with 6 assists a game. Ingram is a top scorer. He also is the top rebound for the Pelicans, averaging 7 rebounds a game. And Drew Holiday 6.5 on the assists per contest coming into this one. The Detroit Pistons average 108.5 a game, giving up in the 111.2. They shoot 46% from the field, average 42 rebounds a game, 24.3 on the assists, 5 blocks a game, 7.5 on the steals. They are currently on a 2-game slide, 3 and 7 of the last 10. The Pelicans 113 points a game, giving up 116.5. That's why you're on the other side of that equation. You can't give up as much as you scored. It's a recipe for disaster, trust me. 45% from the field, 45.5 on the rebounds per game, 25 per 3 on the assists, 5 blocks a contest, 7.5 steals, and then 7 and 3 in the last 10 games. The Pelicans trying to step it up, 14-26, still sitting in the cellar, a couple of games behind, more than a couple behind. The Spurs who are 16-21. Memphis is now 3rd in the Southwest at 17-22, and Dallas is 24-15. Top man is Houston, 26-12. Spurs 16-21. The Pelicans got to come a long ways to get back into it, but the future's looking bright. Thought process on Detroit, DC.
It's going to be a tough game, man. I mean, it should look like an easy victory for the Pelicans, but if we remember last time, it went down to the wire, and Derrick Rose hit a nice shot over Drew Holiday to steal that victory from us, man. A lot of the matchup indicators or predictors are saying that Detroit is going to win this game. Drew Holiday is doubtful, though. I remember hearing that from the Pelicans themselves, so, I mean, maybe it's a chance he can suit up. Maybe we get at least Derek Favors back. J.J. Redick maybe still hurt. But if we get some help, I think we can take this game. But if I see the team I saw tonight, I don't know, man, because Andre Drummond is definitely going to dominate the paint and dominate the boards. Jackson Hayes is not bulked up enough. He's not ready. Jahlil Okafor only has a one-track mind on playing offense. And it's a tough matchup. It's a game that we should win. When you look at it on paper, but Detroit is on a 3-game slide or 2-game slide. The Celtics was on a 3-game slide, and they came and played us. So hopefully we don't be medicine for teams that's on a losing streak. But I love to see them go ahead and get this victory. I think they can do it, but I don't think it's going to be us blowing them out. It's going to be a tough game, and hopefully we can eke out this win.
That's what it comes down to. I think it's definitely not going to be an easy game to take on a team the likes of them, especially when they're going to be battling to it. But the Pelicans,
they strong where we weak at, man.
They strong in the post, especially if you're dealing with Drummond there. And Derek Favors is not going to be there. And it's a mismatch to the highest levels to have Drummond going against Jackson Hayes. That's like a rag doll being thrown around by a hurricane. I mean, that's what kind of stuff is going on.
He tries his best, man. His activity is great.
He lighting the ass. That's bottom what it is. Man. That's the problem with Jackson Hayes. He lighting the ass. But anyway, let's keep it rolling, family. Now we're going to open up the phone lines. Like I promised, the phone lines open. 504-475-4482. Let's put that out there in the chat. Let the family members know. 504 is your opportunity to chime in. Though a couple of the family members is asking if we want to open up the lines tonight. Yes, we are. 504-475-4482. And DC up to answer some questions tonight, family.
Well, I mean, I'm on the show, ain't I? You can't duck these fans, man.
I hear you, brother.
Well, I don't want to call them fans because that's for fanatics like Scoop say. But you can't duck the Pelicans faithful, I'll say that.
That's right. Call in, family. Live line is activated. It's now on. Give a call in, family. Questions, concerns, comments, dealing with the Pelicans, anything, whatever you got, throw at us. I know DJ wanted to know if we was opening the line. So 504-475-4482, the live call-in line is now activated. And that's a few questions from the chat. Kevin says, hey, Q, for the LSU podcast, give us that sports coma stuff, bro. LSU in a championship game, bro. That's right. We're going to do a preview tomorrow. Supposed to do it this morning. I decided to hold it because of the sports coma. I wanted to put full energy into the sports coma. Of course, we went 5 hours into the dome. And it was the first time that, I spoke to a lot of family members since the Monday show. And I kind of flip-flopped it, made the Wednesday show the Monday show of that week after the fact. But I know a lot of family members were still kind of upset and in their feelings about the game. It's just been a week. And don't think that it'll go away, because if you look at how San Francisco beat whatchamacallit tonight, they're gonna be even more so. All right, family, thank you for calling the Pelican Postgame Report. Who I'm speaking with?
Yeah, you talking Alvin Gentry.
Okay, Alvin Gentry. I'll tell you what, fam. You doing a lot better this time around, man. It look like they're going to hold on to you, bro. But Alvin Gentry, man, that's the luckiest dude in the world. I tell you what. That sucker so lucky. He can't lose enough. He can't lose enough games, bro, and then come back. And I mean, just when you get to the cusp when you know he about to fire his ass, then he start winning games. I mean, Alvin Gentry, man, he's so lucky. But DJ, go ahead. What you thinking, fam?
Nah. What's going on, people? What's going on, DC?
DC, he asking about you, brother. I don't think DC can.
You're gonna have to repeat what he's saying. I can't hear anything.
Okay, go ahead, DJ. He said, DJ just asking how you doing, brother.
Oh, I'm good, my brother. Thank you for asking. How are you?
So the team that I saw tonight, oh man, when I turned on the game, the score was down 30-16 something. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna watch the game. I'm gonna see what they got. Then they got till I want to say maybe possibly third quarter. I just turned the game off. Fourth quarter, I don't know, but yeah, like you said, DC. I mean, the small forward, like you know what our biggest problem is? That double picks up top. And they couldn't defend that.
Yeah, you're right.
I saw that all game.
They kept going under.
Yeah, they couldn't stop that at all. Like, why?
To me, it's just Brandon Ingram, and he still got to work on his defense, man. Brandon Ingram, they kind of kept exploiting him on that. He's not there yet as far as the defender. And it's just a lack of coaching, man. We know what it is. You called in and said you was Alvin Gentry. You know what it is, man. So they just not prepared to adapt to situations, to me. Because teams find things that don't work with us, and they exploit them. And they keep exploiting them the whole game. But, you know, a professional team or a good coach team, they'll do some things. And then if you got a good coach, he forces people to adapt. Like, I'm not going to keep giving you that. Now, if you find something else, that's that. But we just don't adapt well with certain things, man.
Who else killed us tonight? Jason Tatum. Who else killed us tonight? Jaylen Brown. He did a little work too. I mean, like, I know we're coming off a back-to-back game, but come on now, like what are y'all doing in shoot around and practices before shoot around? Like, what are we doing?
You gotta ask Alvin Gentry, my man. I couldn't tell you. But they obviously not executing the game plans on nights like tonight. But I know they were probably really tired, and we were missing 3 players, so a lot of people played extra minutes. I don't know if fatigue had anything to do with how they were thinking, but they was getting beat like a drum. I turned the game off after third quarter, just like you, man. It's like, hey, we can fire the show up. Ain't no need to keep watching the rest of this the way they playing. Frank Jackson do need to get some more minutes, though. I noticed that tonight. But
I mean, yeah, Frank Jackson need to get more minutes. Like when you have Jackson Hayes on the court, you need to put in Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He need to get more minutes. And then again, what kills me is, okay, y'all called up the dude from out the G League or whatever his name is, Cheatham, yeah. Why they don't use why they don't use the people that they call up in the game? Like, fuck, the game damn near over with. He could have played that second half.
2 things on that one, DJ. I mean, the fact that Gentry, he barely trusts the rookies, that first rounders. So you calling up some G League guy who has very little experience in dealing with offenses that they're running. I don't see him doing that. That's just a old school veteran coach like Alvin Gentry is known to be. I mean, and then to address the adjusting aspect of your question about why they're not adjusting. I think the Boston coach is a pretty good a coach, period. And he laid out a game plan where he basically said, we're going to focus on Brandon Ingram and focus on him, doubling him, frustrating him, beating him up, being physical. Notice what Grant Williams was doing, laying into him. He's a slim guy, but we're going to be physical with him, kind of frustrate him and go from there and see if anybody else could beat us. And nobody else could actually do anything besides Frank Jackson off the bench. But we need several other scorers to compete in this game to even keep it. It was 140 to 105. It was the way they were shooting. You would have had to been on fire as they were, and it just, they were on fire. I mean, it was nothing you could do with Ingram, man.
Big Q, they got a lot of open shots though. So
they did, but those a lot of those 3-point, a lot of them open shots and rhythm shots. Come on now.
Before Derek Favors came back now.
Come on now. They had a lot of open shots. They had a lot of open shots, but those are rhythm threes. Like I know, you ain't gonna hit those 3-point shots unless you in the rhythm. Like if you circulating the ball, and a lot of those shots, like Brandon Ingram will go down in the paint, he'll get double, then he'll zip out the ball to Zobal or whoever, and they'll take the jump shot and they don't even be set. I mean, it's a rhythm to shooting those 3-pointers. You could tell when Zoe gets in that rhythm, how their wrists look. You could tell when E'Twaun Moore gets in that rhythm, how their wrists look. You could tell when Harsh get in that rhythm, you could see how those were shots that they were fine opening at, but those are out of rhythm 3-pointers if you catch my drift. They wasn't stepping into those wasn't confident looking 3-pointers.
They were sticking at the line on them, and they were forcing us to drive, and we couldn't get anything going.
Right, they forcing you to drive into Enes Kanter.
They ran a lot of our guys off the line, man.
Yes.
After what we did last night, they said they were not going to let Brandon Ingram beat us, and they were not going to let us beat them with 3-pointers.
That's right, and that's what they did, and they knew you couldn't beat them in the paint. You would have to go up against Enes Kanter and Theus and Grant Williams and some of their brutes in the paint. And they had confidence that they could be able to do something with you in that paint.
They
and guess
ran
what
a
Kanter
nice
did?
zone defense that was frustrating Ingram too.
That's true.
I got to give them credit
That's
for
true.
That,
They
really
showed
what he likes to do.
They showed the NBA how to deal with Ingram. That's why I said with this situation, the Pelicans all kind of shorthanded and everything. We'll start gaining some of these guys back. But let's see how Brandon Ingram deals with that situation. Because like Antonio Daniels was astutely saying during the game, is that he's going to have to find a way when he's double teamed to see the pass when he's double teamed to find the player. Because knowing where the guy that's doubling you from, where is his player at? Having that awareness, that court awareness to find that open man who has that shot sitting there on that line waiting for that shot, or find a cutting player to the basket. That's an aspect of Brandon Ingram games that he's getting better.
He's getting more of a playmaker's mindset. I think it just seems like it's a little new to him to do so much passing.
Right.
He wants to score. I can see it. And his passes, when he looks to pass, it's almost like a second or two late. Like you should have been trying to pass, before that. It got to that point. And it's just I think they're going to have to adapt and adjust, man. So it's going to be all on their ability to do that, because I think teams with the personnel like Boston have, like, you don't have a lot of teams with that many good defensive players, but the ones that do come close, they're definitely going to try to replicate what they did when they play us.
Very true.
All right, so I got like 3 more questions, then I'm going to let somebody else probably call in. My first question is, I heard Big Q said they got trade rumors. Who would you trade for that trade? And my second question is, give me a second, y'all. I had it. If Alvin Gentry was to get fired, like as of tonight or tomorrow, what coach would you hire, or at least seeking to hire?
Oh, who would I look at, man? I think a number of coaches. I like Mark Jackson. I like that's my number one dude right there is Mark Jackson, because I think that he has the credibility, played in the NBA 17 plus seasons as the point guard he's from the New York area where he was played for the Knicks and several other teams. No matter how old Mark Jackson was, he made an impact. When he was with the Pacers, he was up in his years. He still made an impact with his passing. He was a smart, savvy player. He's a really smart coach, astute with the game. If you listen to him on television, he knows the game inside and out. And he's a guy that will command respect because he played at the highest levels. He knows the game. He'll command respect for a young team like the Pelicans. He's organized enough to come in and bring a staff with him that is respectable, that'll help him win. He can implement the offense and the defense, a balanced system that can help, bring out the talents of Zobal, which would be his number one guy to elevate Zobal, and guys like Frank Jackson or Alexander Walker. Those guys are really like zone right to him as a point guard. But as I said, the complete overall package of players that I like, a guy like Mark Jackson, and there's several other candidates beneath him, but Mark Jackson is available and he would love to coach this team. He was on the list before to come here and be the coach. For whatever reason, they went away from him. But my pick, hand down, is Mark Jackson. I'm going to let DC answer his pick, but to answer the question about the Pelicans looking to add a veteran at the deadline, there was reports by Brian Windhurst, the big guy from ESPN, with the soft hands, don't look like he do no work. He just looked like he just eats sandwiches all day. That dude there, man, he was breaking the story out about breaking it down and talking about possible trades that could happen. Now, it's not a player that the Pelicans will look, because Holiday, Reddit, they had rumors about them being on the trade but deadline. That's a bunch of who. That's not going to work. They're not going to trade Reddit. They're not going to trade Holiday. They're not going to move any of their talent. More than likely, it'll be a draft pick or something like that. And if they have to throw a contract in there, they could probably stick a player on the back end. You never know. But I'm not expecting them to move any of the top-notch talent to bring in a guy, to bring in somebody. So what the report is indicating, according to him, is they're looking to add a veteran. That's what they're saying, to add a veteran to the mix. Now, of course, you know for yourself, they ain't gonna bring in a veteran guard. They got enough guards. This is a guard-heavy team. So obviously, the veteran they're looking to add is gonna be a big, either a forward or a center. It's not gonna be a guard. It's not going to be anything to that like it. Like I said, they got enough of those guys, unless they plan on bringing in a veteran point guard to kind of head the team, which will mess up the chemistry with Zoe finally playing well. So I don't see that happening. So it's got to be a big, and several other people indicating that. And they said in free agency, they're looking like a handful of veterans they could bring in as well, like Jeff Green or Joe Johnson. Some of those guys that they're talking about throwing into the mix, and some other players that he's talking about could be either Robert Covington or one of the players from the Detroit Pistons team that they're looking at. That's from Brian Windhorst from ESPN.
Derrick Rose, the other guy. But the player I would go after, if we could, I would go after a guy like Dwayne Dedmon. If we could do some type of deal where we get rid of.
I was gonna say that, bro. You know
that's probably highly unlikely. But
Dedmon
I
wants
would go
to be
after
traded.
A big guy that can get rebounds, that could play decent defense, and maybe have the ability to have a nice little set shot.
Got a fat contract now.
Who, Dwayne Dedmon?
Yes. But he got fined by the NBA recently for going out saying he wants to be traded. So Dwayne Dedmon,
right.
I said that last year
about Dwayne Dedmon.
Yeah.
I would go after Dwayne Dedmon. If we get Dwayne Dedmon and we keep Derek Favors around, and with Zion Williamson, and we're set. Our bigs are set in Jackson Hayes. We good for the next 3-4 years. We ain't got to worry about no bigs, other than somebody in case they get injured or something like that. So that would be my guy. Coaching, man, I'm trying to think of another name, but he stole it right out of my mouth. Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson to me would be the perfect coach for the Pelicans, because he gives us what we need in this team for a long time, even with Anthony Davidson. Under the tutelage of Alvin Gentry, has lacked discipline. We need a disciplined coach. I want one of those hard-nosed coaches that are going to hold people accountable and force you to stick to your routines and be on time. And just a lot of we're wishy-washy as a team, and I think a lot of that has to do with the mentality of our coach. Like, a team usually follows the personality of their coach, and Alvin Gentry is very much up and down. So we have an up and down team. So I would like someone stable, that's skilled, and that's done it at a high level in the game. And there's nobody better I could think of than Mark Jackson that's available. So that would also be my guy too.
So DC, you wanna so would you see? I know that ain't gonna happen, but could you see either Monty Williams or is this name Boston Scott? No, that's a running back. Monty Williams or another coach that we had that kind of was legit as a coach.
Monty Williams would be a good coach for us, but I know that ain't gonna happen. If I was Monty Williams, I'd never come back here.
Yeah,
I make it to the playoffs and y'all fire me. Like, why would I ever go back to that team? It was stupid to me when they got rid of Monty Williams. I really was upset about that, and I didn't understand why we did that, because I thought he was a good coach. It'd be nice to have him back. If he wanted to come back, I'd take him.
I don't think he's coming back. He the coach of the Suns, so I don't think he's going anywhere.
No, he not. I mean, I would take him if he wanted to come back.
Since we don't have, my bad. Since we don't have Darius Miller, sort of say, because I don't think he playing this season either. Why won't they go sign either Wesley Johnson or one of these small forwards that can help? Jamal Crawford. I already accept Jamal Crawford. You know what I'm saying? Like, go sign the dude not playing. Why won't they, go sign the small forward? Because it's like every small forward is killing us on the opposite team.
To get a guy like you said, Wesley Johnson, who they had here. Wesley Johnson was okay. He was a long, lengthy guy. He didn't get enough minutes from what I think when Alvin Gentry had him, and the Pelicans ultimately sent him out. But you're looking at people. If they're talking about Robert Covington, you're looking at guys like Robert Covington, who's a guy that could play three different positions. He could shoot the 3 ball. He's physical. He could play the 3. He could play the 4. And, he's a guy that would definitely look good in the Pelican uniform and for what he can bring off the bench. Then there's Joe Johnson. He's a little advanced in age, but Joe Johnson will knock your eyes out, man. And, and that's the thing he'll bring is scoring off of that bench as well. And that's something that you'll definitely need when it's time to make a playoff push. A lot of these games the Pelicans lost is impact is due. If you're going back and look at a lot of these games, is they didn't have a lot of scoring from the bench. The Pelicans need that bench reinforced, and they need a stable rotation to come up off that bench. And that's something that Alvin Gentry has not done, and I don't think he will do, is he hasn't established an established second unit like you have a first unit. And he has to get out of his mindset of this small thing. I love the small ball game because it brings a lot of points because more guards on the field means you get an opportunity to hit 3-pointers at a higher clip. But the reality is when you're playing big teams like the Lakers, break out the 7-footers, fool. Break out the goddamn 7-footers. Let's do battle. My 7-footers against your 7-footers. Then we'll circulate the little guys in there. But you can't. It doesn't make any sense for me to see a 4-guard lineup against a tall team like the Lakers. Break out the 7-footers, man. Bottom line. And that's some of my thinking on it. But going ahead, similar to what the Saints are, the team will go as far as Alvin Gentry's plans to make. Hopefully he'll stay out of the way of the team and to continue to circulate the ball, be responsible shooting the 3-pointer. And that's the keys to the game in my opinion. No matter who they're facing, be responsible, respect the ball. This game tonight, the Pelicans didn't respect the ball. They turned the ball over. They were trying to make these outlet passes. Right, that's what I'm saying. And a lot of the turnovers the Pelicans have are unforced turnovers. Turning the ball, you got to respect the ball in order to win in these games. And in order to catch up and get back into the winning side of things, it's not going to magically happen. They're playing better, and they're trending in the right direction. But it's still a battle ongoing. They have to keep on sticking fundamental, and Gentry has to make sure he solidifies that backup. But, DJ, I'd like to thank you for calling, my friend. Appreciate you for calling the Pelican Postgame Report, my man. It's getting close. About to cut. Thank you, brother.
You too. Next time, all right, DC.
All right, my friend, who that? And won't back down ever.
All right, my man.
Peace. That's DJ, man. Terrific guy. And that's the beauty of it, man. And it's just magnificent, man, to be honest with you. The Pelicans all headed in the right direction, like we said. And we'll have to see. Now, the next upcoming matchups, family, just to let the family members know about it. The Pelicans' next matchup is going to happen on the 13th. They'll face off against the Pistons. We just previewed that one. Hopefully they could be able to get the win. Every win gets them closer and closer to 500. That's all I care about right now. It's just getting back to 500 because once we get to 500, new game, new season. So that's the mindset of the team is to get ever closer to 500. DC, thoughts on the show before we close out?
Man, I know we got our behind whooped tonight, but things are still on the up and up. We got some tough games coming, and then we got a few easy games stretching there, so the schedule's not as hard as it was in the beginning of the season. And I believe you can look forward to Zion being back in Utah when we come home. I think they're going to bring Zion out. And then I think the team goes to even further level. So if we can just hang on and bearing crazy collapse within that point, which I don't think is going to happen, we got a lot to look forward to, man. And I think the Pelicans have a legitimate shot at making a playoff push. And we'll have a lot to be excited about and keep watching for.
Well, I appreciate that, DC. Thanks for listening to the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO News Network. Please subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And we'll keep hitting you with that good Pelican work. Peace out.
Are you a Pelicans fan? Check out the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network.
The Kleins family has been getting people to go nuts for old nuts since 1995. As legends have it, a number of the Kleins friends who heard the idea said you can go nuts trying to name a store like that. In the excitement, the Kleins thought their friends said old nuts instead of go nuts and proceeded to throw caution to the wind. Old Nuts has over 2,000 items, bulk and wholesale prices of a whole lot of your favorite fruits, nuts, and confections, a selection of gift baskets for any budget, any occasion, and provides one of the best and impressively rated shopping experiences on the web. Fact is, between their selection, service, speed, or their online presence and the virtual mirror retail experience, they have developed an enviable client base that's comprised of personal and professional customers who count on their remarkable range of gift baskets. Think of gift basket, think about Old Nuts. Check them out, oldnuts.com. Check the link in the description section below. Tea is your escape. It's your opportunity to create a moment for stillness, for reflection, for yourself. It's your connection to a world of senses, flavors both exotic and familiar, energizing and relaxing. It's your retreat from an increasingly turbulent world. It's the perfect paradox of simplicity and complexity. Teabox.com connects tea to people, uniting the richest flavors of the finest teas with the curious, the cultivated, and the adventurous all over the world. The freshest tea you've ever tasted, from crop to cup. There's simply no simpler way to experience the wonderful complexity of tea. Teabox, packing up the freshness. Tea thrives on freshness, and so do they. Teabox temperature and humidity control facility ensure that tea is maintained. The teas themselves go into oblique bags with aluminum layers that protect them from excess moisture. And like with Teabox, shopping for fresh, loose leaf tea is easy because you make an informed purchase. You know exactly where your tea is coming from. So for the freshest teas in the world, check out Teabox.com. That's right, Teabox.com. Check the link in the description section below.
Are you a boxing fan? Check out Ring Kings Boxing only on the PRO Media Network.
Go to newfrog.com for all of your electronic gadget needs. Fast becoming #1 online seller of cell phone and accessories, consumer electronics, automobiles and motorcycles, home and garden items, 5D diamond painting crafts, electrical and tool supplies, computer and networking supplies, lights and lighting supplies, sports and travel items, toys and hobby supplies, apparel and accessory, mother and kid items, health and beauty items, and much, much more. Newfrog.com has up to 70% off on some products. And you can check out their weekly promotions for all the best deals. Remember, when thinking online electronics and gadgets, think New Frog. Newfrog.com. Check the link in the description section below.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.
What's up, sports world? The PRO Media Network is on a mission to reach 10,000 subscribers. So besides our regular programs like the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, the Pelican Postgame Report, Rapid Fire TSC, and others, we will be expanding out and offering other content like movie, anime, and gaming reviews for your entertainment. So if you enjoy our content, please donate at our Patreon page. Also subscribe, comment, and share, and help the PRO Media Network reach 10,000 subs. Peace.